Good. No, I gotta figure out how to make,
What was that?
how to make city email work since the server crashed last week.
Yeah, I haven't had access.
No.
Well, I just got it, I called Scott today, and said the server went down last week,
Yeah.
and then they built a new server.
Me, but it
And
could.
so he walked me through getting it on my lap. But he didn't get it, I don't have it on my cell phone, and I'm trying to figure out.
I've never had it on my cell phone, or subscribe on my computer. But I haven't had access to it since Friday.
Yeah, that's what it's. We've got a whole bunch of emails since then.
I'm sure.
Oh, really?
That's what I'm going in, right.
Scott walked me through it, but he didn't walk me through it on the Google side, so.
He couldn't get me, we were at the ball game trying to get on,
What, when, Sunday?
Friday night.
Yeah, that's what it's trying.
I have this. With this.
I have such an old house. It's so porous, I don't
Well, you're
know.
in danger.
No, it turns out if your windows aren't sealed, radon just goes right on through you.
Oh, that's true, but they have to be.
It's only if you have sealed windows.
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
How are you?
Hey, how are you?
I'm so good, how are you doing?
Okay, so did I give everybody?
You know what, I like to sneak in and out every once in a while.
Make yourself, known so that we don't get a.
Deal, we'll do. Here's my photo on and.
Something to do with your. Yeah, everything else they have one. Okay.
Flowers of the fall.
You don't know that.
Oh, you mean. I'm trying to figure
I read it.
so much. Hey, Lars.
How are you? So we treated, I think the last time you saw me was probably via Zoom, right?
Oh, you're just longer.
You know what, it might have been, I had to knock it back a little bit for the holidays.
Oh.
It's a constant fight.
Thanks.
Well, thank you, nice to see you.
I hear you, there's something you want.
Oh, we may. We will have to see how it goes. Depends how much you beat me up tonight. Oh, hopefully, I hope so.
I keep it in my little. You didn't have.
Well, I see. Oh, I always fight with my wife about turning it on because it gives me so much stress and anxiety. I love every second, but man, oh man, so much stress. I'm excited. Hello. Oh,
So would it sound like a slurping? Like instead of, like, we got something. That was wrong.
Oh.
All right, folks, taking time into consideration, I will go ahead and call this meeting to order at 6:31 p.m. If we can start with the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. City Clerk, can you take roll call first, please?
Councilmember Williams,
Present.
Reed, Jackson,
Here.
Lawler,
Here.
Davis, here, French,
Here.
and Yersin.
Here. Our study session is to discuss the items that we are going to be asked to approve of during our regular council meeting. First on the agenda will be to approve resolution 2024-02 for the CDBG grant for the Mission Hill program. We will have a public session, or not public session, public hearing on that, but then we will also be asked to approve the resolution. So Ian, you want to give it a vote?
Yeah, so if this looks familiar, good evening all. You've seen this before. We were unsuccessful in our first attempt at the Mishta Chill application. So we were resubmitting for their round two. We had an opportunity to speak with folks at Mishta, figure out where we went wrong with it. And this is clearing us and having the public hearing this evening to begin that process. The application is due on February 12th. We're on track to apply right now, and this is for applying for $500,000 for Mishta for homeowner improvement and repair. This would go to low and very low income homeowners in our community. And we would, if awarded, establish an application process, and we would carry out each project until the $500,000 was spent. So we're recommending approval, and at that public hearing tonight, we are opening the process, and you'll see another public hearing at the end, pending we are successful in our application. Once all the funds have been handed to us, distributed out, we'll have a final closeout there. It would be probably about 2 weeks. Yeah.
How long? Thank you, Mayor. How long until the next time?
They will let us know by the beginning of March.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Yep, it would be starting this, I believe, if we were successful in applying. And I didn't have to verify that before coming in, but I believe we would be able to start implementing this by May or June of this year.
So how is low and lower?
So low is defined as below 80% of the area median income. And then very low is below 50% of the area median income for the program. And I don't have the dollar amounts of those, but I'm fairly certain that starts to be below $45,000 a year.
Okay, so I was gonna say that would be good because people ask you how much.
Yes.
And given, since they are CDBG funding, there are requirements that an applicant will have to provide to us just to verify that they do meet those requirements. But anyone who applies for this program, they can apply for up to $40,000 to go towards the home improvement within their home. So it's a great opportunity to provide additional resources to our residents to take care of any issues or upgrades that they need to make to their homes. If you recall at our last council meeting, we had to adopt a public participation plan. So when we applied in the first round, we did receive a low scoring or disqualified because we do not have what we provided to them did not meet their requirements. So we are on track to be able to submit a solid application.
Councilman Williams.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Mayor. When factoring in the area median income, do we use the county?
Yes,
Okay,
I believe that is how Mishta determines our area. They go by county for us.
okay, so it's a lot, it'd be a lot higher than what it would if we just did the city alone.
Yes, I believe we are at 61.6% of our residents or more are low to moderate income, and that qualifies us for this program.
Councilman Long, you get questions? Councilman Long.
Yes, thank you so much. I may have missed it, but is this, a matching fund, a loan, grant?
There is no match required. I think in the future, for something like this, we would look at building out the program and matching some funds to it, but there's no match required for Mishta, and so we do not have a match on this.
Councilman Williams?
Yeah, earlier, was it said that applicants can apply for up to 40,000?
Up to $40,000, if we're awarded our funding and get to launch our program. And then we would create some capacity within the planning department, likely by taking on a grant administrator temporarily during this. And that would help us with the income verification, getting all the projects set up into a pro forma so that we have clearly the total bill for each project. It'll be a bit of a labor, but it's something that we used to do a little bit more. And distributing these types of funds is definitely worth the hours it takes to administer the program.
Is the cost for that already built into the will it come out of the 500K or will it come from somewhere else?
Yes, we have 18%, so I think that's 90,000 of the 500 is administrative costs. I think that was the ratio that Mitch had set. It was. Yeah. So 90,000 of the 500, so 410 going to projects. But it would be our goal to continue funding rounds to funding rounds. So we get it started here and then be able to resubmit another budget next year or the year after.
Okay, does this grant have to stay administered by the city? Or could it be handed off? So that the 90K could be put to use as opposed to paying for that capacity, that additional capacity?
So
And the reason I say that is because the EDC has a My Hope program that they were granted not too long ago. It was for 500, maybe 540,000. But it's basically the same type of thing, helping homeowners to update things in their homes. That, you know, their program, I think it was like a $25,000 max per, but that's 25 spread over 500, where we're talking 400,000 divided into that 500 and then taking out that additional capacity. So this may be something that you may want to look at if they're already facilitating those grants, then it may be a certain burden that we don't have to incur, and we can actually put that money to good use as opposed to, putting it towards additional staff, if that's not sustainable over time.
absolutely, we can take those program requirements and make sure that we are leveraging the funds well. I don't think Michigan necessarily recommended the administrative match, but that was what was allowed within their program. To my knowledge, most CDBG programmatic funds include some administrative, like a cap to the portion of that can be used for admin. Regardless of if we have to alter that match amount, or that, I'm sorry, that admin amount out of that. That doesn't enter into whether or not we would administer it in-house or bring on a grant administrator. I think we'll have to bring on a grant administrator for a couple reasons to do with overseeing the program and how Michigan wants it to operate. I would definitely be interested in using more of that money in the future to apply directly to the program, but we're trying to create the capacity, and so I wanted to follow the form that Michigan had kind of laid out on this one.
Okay. How does that, and the building out of that capacity, how does it intercorrelate with the, interlocal agreement?
That's a good question. I don't know that this Michigan application really correlates to the interlocal agreement at all. If there's a specific point of it that I'm missing, I can take another look at it, but I don't think that, enters into this.
Well, not necessarily the grant, but, the work that's going to be done in housing going forward, this is good, this is a good step forward. Of course, we know what the demand and the needs are, and I feel as though this is an answer for the people who have, the community members who have, shared concerns as far as needing help specifically. But at the same point in time, I don't think we necessarily have to duplicate every process across the board, and there's some collaboration that could take place, and if so, why not utilize it to the best of our ability so we can leverage every dollar that comes into the community as opposed to, recycling and redoing the same thing in each department over and over again.
I can appreciate that. Yeah, we can take a second look at that and look for some more opportunity on this or some other similar projects.
All right.
So I think it's, safe to say whether we bring someone on board to administer this in-house or if we, partner with an outside organization, there is, administrative costs carved out into our grant application because we will, whether it be working with the EDC, will still issue an administrative fee to them for administering this on behalf of the city. So that is still, we have $90,000 set aside out of the $500,000 request to cover those services.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Thank you, Ian. All right, next, we will be asked to approve, 2 board appointments. Tom Pitt is a reappointment to the Albion Building Authority, and Tom Hunsdorfer for the planning committee. Do we have questions or comments on either one of those applicants? Okay. Next, we'll be asked to approve resolution 2024-03, which is for the Spark grant, for Victory Park. City manager statement.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Council, if you recall, we were awarded $1 million Spark grant through the first round of the Spark grant program that was administered by the MDNR. Since we received funding in that first round, that made us eligible to pursue the third round of Spark grant funding, which will be administered by the Michigan Foundation, Council of Michigan Foundation. So we are one of 39 communities in the state who are eligible for this opportunity. Given that, we have been working in collaboration with the Albion Community Foundation. We are looking to do improvements to Victory Park. Included on your desk is a map that highlights all of the improvements. So we're looking to replace the play structure, as you all know that it's reaching its end of life. We had to do some emergency repairs last year. So we're looking to completely replace that with a new play structure similar in size but different material. The form play similar to what we have on the McIntosh Park. There will be upgrades to the bathrooms. An actual ADA parking and access will be developed. And there will be renovations to the tennis and pickleball and basketball courts, other walkways, and then the renovate the small wood pavilion as well. So we are requesting $1 million, and the total project cost is $1,629,000. So we, in working with the Community Foundation, we will come up with the remaining $629,000 to fully fund this project. We do have 200,000 already from the private donation from Mr. and Mrs. Tony and Christy DeNicola. And then when talking with the Community Foundation, they have already reached out to other organizations and potential donors to secure that funding. We also receive County Park Village funds that could also go towards one way for the city to contribute to this project. It looks like this will be 2025-2026 fiscal year. All of these projects are included in our Parks and Recreation Master Plan, which is a plus. When you're applying for a lot of these grant programs, they want to see that your project has been declared a priority for the community and is included in some sort of master plan, and which we do need that requirement. So we are recommending approval so that we can move forward with submitting this application. Happy to answer any questions.
Any questions or comments for City Manager Snyder? Next, we're going to be asked to approve of the 24 fee schedule. You have a copy of that in your packet. City Manager Snyder, you'll let us know which ones are being updated.
Director Arnold.
Oh, sorry, Director Arnold.
That's all right. It's my lateness and my error. So we are re-adopting fees that you adopted last year that were left out of this year's fee schedule. For that rental ordinance, you might remember we just passed. We are looking forward to starting that this year, and I'm coming before you to ask you to please re-adopt the amended fee schedule that has per unit registration at $35, late unit registration at $70, and a inspection schedule going from 1 to 2 units, 3 to 4 units, and 5+ units at $125 per inspection for 1 to 2 units, $100 for 3 to 4 units, and $90 for 5 or more units in one visit, with a $75 re-inspection fee. We're asking you to adopt these, as these are the fees that we need to administer our rental.
They are highlighted gray on page 34.
Yeah, Councilman Williams.
Thank you. The inspection. We're going with annual inspection?
No, it's a tri-annual inspection. So once you have registered a rental unit and it passes inspection, that inspection will be good for 3 years.
Okay, okay. That's the 125, all right?
That is true of all of the rental inspections. The difference in the fee schedule here is the number of rental units being inspected per visit. So if it's just a single family home being rented, it's 125 for the inspection. And if it was 2 duplexes there, 250. But then, you know, for our multifamily units and our larger apartment buildings, we have an adjusting schedule there because it would be all within the same visit, the same parcel.
Can we update that so it doesn't say, so it says tri-annual and not annual, so people don't think it's 125 every year? Yes, that's what.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I'm
No,
wondering.
they didn't get there. People are asking.
Yeah, I'm sorry, you gotta pay this again?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. We'll change that to triangle.
Thank you.
Thank you for that correction.
So when, is it safe, what is it called, safe bill?
Yes.
So when safe bill comes out, say for instance, they don't pass the first inspection, this is the concern of the community.
Yeah.
They have to come back again, and then there's another additional, what?
$75
That's
for
what I,
inspection.
that's what I did, okay, so $75. So the money, what is the amount of money that we're giving to them? Because people are like, why are we paying them so much money and the city is not getting that much back?
Mhm.
Like, we're putting money in their pocket, but we're not putting enough in them in ourselves.
Sure.
So I told them I would ask that question, so you can put it on here, and I said, okay, go back to this day and you will hear exactly what he just.
Absolutely. So to state that clearly for folks at home listening, the inspection fees are retained by Safe Built. So that 125, the inspection and re-inspection fees are retained by Safe Built. The registration fee of $35 or $70 for a late registration, that's an annual cost. That is retained by the city. In short, the difference there is the cost of administering this program and the cost of service delivery from Safe. So these inspections are similar, though the breakdown lowers them compared to building inspections or inspections that take place during construction. But this is to pay for the time of the inspector coming out and inspecting the unit. Sometimes those are fairly quick, sometimes those, can take over an hour. It just depends on the size of the unit. Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's another way to say it than that is what the service delivery costs on the inspection side, and we're retaining the registration portion.
And we're getting a lower
Yeah,
amount back.
Mhm.
Getting-
because we're not doing the service ourselves.
That's correct about that.
Yeah.
Do they do a lot of service?
Well,
It depends on what it is, basically.
yeah, so I think I want to describe, the inspections are a state licensed inspector coming through, and they reserve about an hour of time, but sometimes they go over, and doing a top to bottom inspection of the condition of the home. So it's the standard we're paying for, it's the time we're paying for, and it is a fair fee for someone with that license.
And say if we house this service internally, we would be paying way more than what we currently are. So a lot of time, that's the reason why these services have been outsourced for quite some time. Because it actually is saving the city instead of having to pay for those certified inspectors to have them on staff. And as it's a triannual inspection, so those go to state bill, but we receive the registration fee each year, so we will collect that each year.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments on this topic? Next, we're gonna be asked to approve the MERS contribution for the city manager division.
Afternoon, everyone. The MERS contribution that we asked you all to agree is for what was agreed in Mrs. Snyder's, City Manager Snyder's, employment agreement, where she was going from 7% to 10%. And so in order to do that, MERS is set at 7% for all city employees. But in order to move City Manager Snyder's to 10%, we must create a new division. And so we're asking you all to approve that, so that that can be done on March 15th when her contract renewals. Any questions?
Just to add, a little, just a little bit more, we have done this in the past. I believe the last time we had a separate city manager division was when we had former city manager Darwin McClary here. So we went through the same process. We had to establish this division, and when he was no longer with the city, we terminated that because it did not apply to anyone. And now that has been agreed upon by council in my next employment agreement. We are just trying to get things in place to follow up what's been approved by council.
Thank you. And then lastly, it's in regards to the EDC board appointments. Councilwoman Reed, do you want this on the agenda? I said you had wanted this on the agenda.
I just actually we go through it. And you feel that you want to do that?
No, I was just, that's part of the agenda, so we're,
No, okay, so we go.
okay. Do we have any, public comments? Anybody in the gallery would like to stand and address council, we may do so at this time. All right, we have a motion to adjourn. Support. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Study session adjourned, 6:54 p.m. Do not go far.